Analysis: Ripple briefly achieves $100 billion market cap. Can it be justified? Ripple, the cryptocurrency that was designed to handle large volumes of transactions for banks and financial institutions, recently surpassed at her OIM to achieve a staggering $100 billion market cap. Justification of Ripple's market cap. However, some experts including Ryan Selkis of Consensus revealed that it is difficult to justify the market cap of Ripple at this phase of development and adoption, given that not many banks out of the hundreds of Ripple's partners are actually clearing large volumes of transactions through the Ripple blockchain on a daily basis. Earlier this week, Selkis noted that one source of a major bank working with Ripple disclosed the lack of transaction volumes on the Ripple blockchain network and how the Ripple token XRP is not being used for all of the transactions. Per a source at one of the major banks XRP, I know of no banks that are using it or would touch it in any way, as it is controlled by a SV company, and 20% of all XRP in existence were taken by the founders. The source of Selkis said. The source further emphasized, the product that Ripple are offering to banks is simply a point-to-point messaging tool with some smart cryptography underneath to ensure that transactions are atomic. The liquidity model used is the same as correspondent banking. Some banks will have deep pools of liquidity available to terminate payments. Ripple's approach with XRP has been to get it listed on a bunch of exchanges and infer, but never explicitly say that banks are using it for settlement. Currently, more than 90 banks in Japan and South Korea alone have partnered with Ripple and its joint venture with leading Japanese bank SBI Holdings to integrate the blockchain technology of Ripple. But the banks are set to process real volumes of transactions in 2018, that is assuming that the pilot tests will be conducted seamlessly in the new few months. An important aspect of the Ripple blockchain network to consider is that it is not processing sufficient volumes of transactions to justify its market valuation. The current market cap of Ripple is based on its potential and total addressable market, TAM. But if the same measurement is used to place a valuation on Bitcoin, given that Bitcoin is targeting a $40 trillion market in offshore banking, $8 trillion market in gold, and $50 trillion in global reserve currencies, the market cap of Bitcoin could be in the trillions. Ripple's potential. Earlier this year, Ripple had processed $180 million in payments for Swedish bank SEB, which utilized the Ripple network to settle payments for its high-profile clients. In June, CCN reported that Ripple established a system with which banks can settle near instantaneous payments between Japan and Thailand. In this case, Ripple was impressive in concept and turned out to be more so in practice. Furthermore, we can expect to have more favorable foreign exchange opportunities as Ripple's network expands, SBI Remit Director Nobuo Ando said at the time. Evidently, Ripple is providing innovative solutions to the outdated and highly inefficient banking systems of leading financial institutions and is operating like SWIFT 2.0. Ripple is also processing more transactions and most of the cryptocurrencies in the market. But analysts believe that the current market valuation of Ripple is an overestimation of its operations. For a brief period of time, Ripple overtook at her OIM to become the second largest cryptocurrency in the global market behind Bitcoin with a $72 billion market valuation on December 29. Ripple mania in South Korea. Since then, the market cap of Ripple has fallen slightly from $72 billion to $70.3 billion, allowing at her OIM to regain its position as the second largest cryptocurrency. It is the second time this year that a cryptocurrency has overtaken at her OIM in market valuation. In November, Bitcoin Cash briefly surpassed the market valuation of at her OIM during a period in which the SegWit2x hard fork proposal was rejected by the market and the majority of SegWit2x supporters moved to Bitcoin Cash. At the time, but Aaron wrote, over the past few weeks, CCN reported on several occasions that the demand for Ripple from South Korea and Japan are fueling its price growth. At the time of reporting, the price of Ripple in South Korea remains above $2, more than 10% higher than the global average price. The demand for Ripple has surged in the two countries because of the partnership between Japanese banks led by SBI Ripple Asia and South Korean financial conglomerates to integrate Ripple's blockchain-based technologies by January 2018. Ripple Labs and the developers of the Ripple network expected many billions of dollars to be processed on the Ripple network on a regular basis, has Corbett founder and CEO Tony Li told Nathaniel Poppers of the New York Times. Once investors in the South Korean market are optimistic about a certain asset and its value continues to increase, every trader in the market moves towards that particular asset. The South Korean cryptocurrency exchange is very strongly affected by FOMO, or fear of missing out. Word just spreads really fast in Korea. Once people are invested, they want everyone else to join the party. There has been this huge, almost a community movement around this, said Leda. Last month, the South Korean market rallied behind Bitcoin Cash, pushing the price of BCH in the local market to $3,700. This month, Ripple has been the focal point of the portfolios of South Korean investors. Peter Brandt, an experienced and highly respected trader, stated that any investment or trade by FOMO is discouraged and it is an emotion which investors should not reflect on their trades. In my opinion, FOMO is one of the absolute worst emotions a trader can possess. I cannot count the number of traders I know who tapped out over FOMO. Learn to resist it, or it will bury you, said Brandt. It is my contention that many cryptomaniacs misunderstand FOMO. Markets thrust higher not because of buying from FOMO, but market sense those with FOMO are missing out. When mass FOMO finally throws in the towel to buy, it's atop of some scale. Also, in a minor market, like South Korea, cryptocurrency investors often look for reaffirmations by prominent traders or institutions to justify their trades. For local traders, the wide adoption of Ripple by leading banks has been a go signal for investment. Is Ripple sustainable? Earlier this year, Ripple processed $180 million for Swedish bank SEB. If Ripple can process many billions of dollars on a daily basis on behalf of its partner banks, the high market cap of Ripple can be justified. However, the market cap and price of Ripple should not be justified by TAM, or total addressable market, but rather with actual transaction volumes and user activity. $1.52. Ripple price surges 15%, now worth more than Uber for the second time this week. The Ripple price has achieved a new all-time high at $1.52, surging by more than 15% overnight and obtaining a market cap of $59 billion. According to the Wall Street Journal, the $70 billion market valuation of Uber dropped by $20 billion over a period of 24 hours after SoftBank, Japan's largest technology investment firm, acquired a 20% stake in Uber, valuing the company at $50 billion. Having established a new all-time high, Ripple is now bigger than both Uber and Altucher, two of the largest technology startups in the global market, with a market cap of above $50 billion. Ofer Gottlieb, the CEO at Capital Market Labs, a member of Thomson Reuters First Call Institutional Research, stated that the price of Ripple is increasing at a rapid rate due to its potential in regions like South Korea and Japan, where large-scale financial institutions, banks, and credit card companies have already adopted the blockchain-based technologies of Ripple. Ripple surpassing the market valuation of Ripple can be easily justified, said Gottlieb, emphasizing the larger market Ripple can penetrate into than Uber. Ripple's total addressable market is $5 trillion a day in trans-country currency exchange, currently on SWIFT, or over $1 quadrillion a year. Ripple, the technology, not necessarily the digital currency, is a much bigger idea than Uber, Gottlieb explained. But it is also difficult and inaccurate to justify a market valuation of a currency purely based on total addressable market, because Ripple is yet to process even small fraction of the transaction volume of the global finance and currency exchange market, while Uber has been dominating the car-sharing market for many years. More to that, if the market valuation of any cryptocurrency can be justified by total addressable market, Bitcoin's market cap can be in the trillions as of now, given that it is the $40 trillion offshore banking industry, $8 trillion gold market, and the global fiat currency system it is attempting to replace. Ripple's connections. While it is not fair and accurate to justify Ripple's market cap based on its potential and total addressable market, it can be said that its connections and partnerships with some 90 banks in Japan and South Korea can justify its recent price increase. Previously, CCN reported that major Japanese financial institution SBI Holdings and its joint venture firm with Ripple SBI Ripple Asia have formed a consortium of credit card companies that will implement Ripple's technologies in the upcoming months. "We are going to invest in the ecosystem to both help accelerate the adoption of Ripple's technology," said Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse on CNBC's Squawk Alley. "One of the things we all have to remember is the value of a token over the long term is really going to be driven by its utility. There is no question there is a lot of hype in this system." CCN also revealed that Ripple has settled $180 million in payments for the Swedish bank SEB, processing cross-border payments for high-profile clients. If Ripple can build a client base of leading banks and settle billions of dollars worth of payments on a daily basis, its price and market valuation as a payments firm will further increase from its current levels. Bitcoin risks becoming a historic investment bubble. Bitcoin at defining juncture 2018. Bitcoin is facing the moment of truth, says Allianz economist. A top economist at one of Europe's largest asset management firms said that he believes Bitcoin is facing its moment of truth as it endures its first significant correction since the launch of Bitcoin futures contracts earlier this month. Bitcoin at defining juncture. Mohamed El-Arian, the chief economic advisor at Allianz, wrote in a Bloomberg op-ed that, following a banner year that has seen the Bitcoin price rise to nearly $20,000 after entering January at $1,000, the market finds itself at a defining juncture. Since reaching an all-time high of $19,891 on December 17, the Bitcoin price has entered a severe corrective phase. At the time of writing, Bitcoin was trading at $14,078, according to the CCN Bitcoin Price Index, a decline of 29% from its all-time high. Though not outside Bitcoin's normal range of volatility, the market pulls back by 30% approximately once every 2 months. This is the largest correction since U.S. exchanges CBOE and CME launched Bitcoin futures contracts. Consequently, El-Arian wrote that this downturn carries particular importance for Bitcoin's future. Either the sharp price correction will act as a catalyst for expanding what, until now, has been quite limited institutional involvement in this market, or it will become a stage in the deflation of a remarkable and historic asset bubble, he said. Bitcoin risks becoming a historic investment bubble. The former PIMCO chief executive, who argued in September that the flagship cryptocurrency's fair market value lay between $1,300 and $2,000, about one-third of its value at the time, explained that, to date, Bitcoin has been buttressed by a small but dedicated investor base. He also alleged that, with the exception of China, Bitcoin has attracted less government intervention than one would expect. However, this latter claimed losses over the fact that at one time, mainstream financial analysts said that a Chinese regulatory crackdown would deal Bitcoin a death blow. That, of course, was not the case, and cryptocurrency prices rose dramatically in the months after China banned cryptocurrency trading. Referencing this breakneck climb, El-Arian said that a healthy correction would remove the irrational exuberance from the market, provide institutional investors with an attractive entry point, and widen Bitcoin's investor base. Absent this, he warned, not even the deep commitment of true believers will be enough to protect individual retail investors, who would end up experiencing a price appreciation and collapse that would rival even the biggest investment bubbles in history. Does Jamie Dimon really believe Bitcoin is bad? On December 14, the Chicago Board Options Exchange, CBOE, became the first major options exchange and financial institution to list Bitcoin futures in partnership with Gemini, a major US-based regulated cryptocurrency exchange run by the Winklevoss twins. The listing of Bitcoin futures by CBOE and Gemini immediately provided a platform and sufficient liquidity for large-scale investors to either invest in Bitcoin or short the cryptocurrency. Through the CBOE futures market, Cameron Winklevoss dared Dimon to short Bitcoin and bet against the long-term performance of the cryptocurrency if he actually believes that Bitcoin is a scam and a fraud, as he said before. Several renowned analysts and experts in the cryptocurrency sector, including Ari Paul, the co-founder of Blocktower Capital, do not believe that Jamie Dimon sees Bitcoin as a scam or a money laundering tool. Rather, Paul believes that Dimon understands Bitcoin better than most people in the market, but is purposely misleading the public because he considers Bitcoin as a threat to their dominance over the global offshore banking industry. Paul explained, so most of the financial luminaries, I think, genuinely don't understand what it is trying to be. Jamie Dimon is an exception. By all accounts, I know people who spoke to him about cryptocurrency 4 years ago. He gets it, he understands it, probably better than me, and he views it, I think, as a brand new competitor to JP Morgan. So he understands that JP Morgan collects a lot of fees for providing a storage of wealth, in a secure way that is judgment resistant to clients, and Bitcoin does it an order of magnitude better. Dimon had criticized and condemned Bitcoin in the past not because of its structural, technical, and conceptual flaws, but rather because he considers it as a competitor to JP Morgan's offshore banking operation, which accounts for the majority of the bank's profits. This is a positive and optimistic sign for the long-term growth of Bitcoin, however, given that major banks, like JP Morgan, are being threatened by the exponential growth rate of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. Tyler Winklevoss encourages Dimon to personally bet against Bitcoin. In addition to Cameron's comments, Tyler Winklevoss further encouraged Dimon to personally bet against Bitcoin through the futures market and take JP Morgan's balance sheet with it. We encourage Jamie Dimon, we encourage him to personally bet against it, Bitcoin, take JP Morgan's balance sheet, bet against Bitcoin. We'll see what happens, stated Winklevoss. Given that JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are preparing to clear Bitcoin futures on behalf of their clients and assist their customers into the Bitcoin market, it is highly unlikely that Dimon or other bankers will short Bitcoin because they do not truly believe Bitcoin will not succeed. Either the sharp price correction will act as a catalyst for expanding institutional involvement in this market, or it will become a stage in the deflation of a remarkable and historic asset bubble, Arian concluded. Roger McNamee, Bitcoin facing decisive year in 2018, needed to prevent collapse. Elevation Partners co-founder and tech investing legend Roger McNamee said that he believes 2018 will be a decisive year for Bitcoin. Why 2018 is decisive for Bitcoin? Speaking with CNBC, McNamee, an early Facebook investor, explained that next year will be crucial in determining whether Bitcoin's ascent is sustainable over the long term or whether it will prove to be a short-term asset bubble. Bitcoin is still a very small market in the context of the larger financial world, but it has had a huge year, McNamee said on Fast Money. We've done it around a speculative mania. If a mania goes on long enough, it becomes self-fulfilling. Even after a crash, what follows is a legitimate industry. McNamee compared it favorably to the dot-com bubble that occurred at the turn of the millennium, recognizing that although the bubble caused a brief recession, it spawned a legitimate, transformative industry. The key, he said, is that Bitcoin continues to captivate investors long enough that the mania becomes self-fulfilling, and he believes that this will be apparent by the end of 2018. With the amount of activity going on around it, there are people willing to invest the kind of dollars it takes to make a thing like Bitcoin into a long-term part of the financial market, he said. You'll have these big swings, up and presumably down, as well. And, wherever that settles out, I think will tell us a lot about the role of Bitcoin long-term. Increased institutional involvement needed to prevent collapse, says economist McNamee is not the only industry observer who believes Bitcoin has reached a crucial juncture in its short history. Mohamed El-Arian, the chief economic advisor at European asset management giant Allianz, said earlier this week that he believes Bitcoin's recent downtrend could prove to be a moment of truth for the upstart cryptocurrency. Noting that, despite the advent of Bitcoin futures, institutional investors have yet to make a splash in the cryptocurrency markets, he said that how Wall Street responds to the correction could prove decisive in the asset's long-term trajectory. CME Bitcoin Futures Exchanges Live, inflow of $10 billion expected. CME Group, the world's second largest options exchange behind XP, with a market cap of $51.4 billion, has officially listed Bitcoin futures contracts on its trading platform earlier today, on December 18th. Bitcoin Reference Rate (BRR) on the CME Bitcoin Futures Exchange, which aggregates the trade flow of major Bitcoin spot exchanges during a specific calculation window into a once-a-day reference rate of the US dollar price of Bitcoin, is at $19,448. That is a $500 premium on the global average Bitcoin price, at $18,924. Camila Russo, Bloomberg Markets reporter, revealed that CME Bitcoin Futures recorded around $35 million in trades on its debut, processing more than 370 contracts. Despite being the larger options exchange, processed just over 1,000 contracts on Friday, after its listing of Bitcoin futures on December 14, Thursday. Since one CME contract is equivalent to 5 Bitcoin, while one CBOE contract represents the holding of 1 Bitcoin, CME processed 45% more traders on its debut than CBOE. Tens of billions in institutional money will be invested in Bitcoin as of current, CBOE and CME are processing around $60 to $70 million in Bitcoin trades on a daily basis. In contrast, the global Bitcoin exchange market is processing more than $13 billion per day. CBOE and CME only account for a small fraction of global Bitcoin trading and investment. However, the Bitcoin futures market is crucial for the mid to long-term growth trend of Bitcoin because it opens the Bitcoin market to a group of investors that previously could not access the global Bitcoin exchange market. Institutional investors, retail traders, hedge funds, and investment banks are now able to invest in Bitcoin through Bitcoin futures. Over 100 hedge funds have been created in the past year exclusively to trade digital currency. An even greater number of traditional institutional investors are starting to look at trading digital assets, including family offices, sovereign wealth funds, traditional hedge funds, and more. By some estimates, there is $10 billion of institutional money waiting on the sidelines to invest in digital currency today, said Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. More importantly, various studies have revealed that the global offshore banking market is valued at over $40 trillion. Most offshore bank account holders rely on centralized financial service providers such as Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan to process trades, transactions, and store wealth. Upon the debut of CME's Bitcoin futures contracts, sources of both Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan disclosed that the two banks will begin clearing Bitcoin futures on behalf of their clients. In addition to the $10 billion from investment firms and hedge funds, a significantly larger amount of capital will be reallocated from offshore banking accounts to the Bitcoin market in the next few years. Nasdaq planning 2018 launch. After observing the midterm success and performance of CBOE and CME, Nasdaq, the world's second largest stock market, behind the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE, will introduce Bitcoin futures in the first quarter of 2018. NYSE has also expressed its optimism towards Bitcoin futures and announced its intent to list Bitcoin futures in the upcoming months. SBI Remit Director Nabu Ando said at the time. Evidently, Ripple is providing innovative solutions to the outdated and highly inefficient banking systems of leading financial institutions and is operating like Swift 2.0. Ripple is also processing more transactions and most of the cryptocurrencies in the market. But analysts believe that the current market valuation of Ripple is an overestimation of its operations. For a brief period of time, Ripple overtook Ethereum to become the second largest cryptocurrency in the global market behind Bitcoin with a $72 billion market valuation on December 29. Ripple mania in South Korea. Since then, the market cap of Ripple has fallen slightly from $72 billion to $70.3 billion, allowing Ethereum to regain its position as the second largest cryptocurrency. It is the second time this year that a cryptocurrency has overtaken Ethereum in market valuation. In November, Bitcoin Cash briefly surpassed the market valuation of Ethereum during a period in which the SegWit2x hard fork proposal was rejected by the market and the majority of SegWit2x supporters moved to Bitcoin Cash. at the time. But Aaron wrote, over the past few weeks, CCN reported on several occasions that the demand for Ripple from South Korea and Japan are fueling its price growth. At the time of reporting, the price of Ripple in South Korea remains above $2, more than 10% higher than the global average price. The demand for Ripple has surged in the two countries because of the partnership between Japanese banks led by SBI. Analysis: Ripple briefly achieves $100 billion market cap. Can it be justified? Ripple, the cryptocurrency that was designed to handle large volumes of transactions for banks and financial institutions, recently surpassed at her OIM to achieve a staggering $100 billion market cap. Justification of Ripple's market cap. However, some experts including Ryan Selkis of Consensus revealed that it is difficult to justify the market cap of Ripple at this phase of development and adoption, given that not many banks out of the hundreds of Ripple's partners are actually clearing large volumes of transactions through the Ripple blockchain on a daily basis. Earlier this week, Selkis noted that one source of a major bank working with Ripple disclosed the lack of transaction volumes on the Ripple blockchain network and how the Ripple token XRP is not being used for all of the transactions. Per a source at one of the major banks XRP, I know of no banks that are A, using it, or B, would touch it in any way, as it is controlled by a SV company, and 20% of all XRP in existence were taken by the founders. The source of Selkis said. The source further emphasized, the product that Ripple are offering to banks is simply a point-to-point messaging tool with some smart cryptography underneath to ensure that transactions are atomic. The liquidity model used is the same as correspondent banking. Some banks will hire Ripple Asia and South Korean financial conglomerates to integrate Ripple's blockchain-based technologies by January 2018. Ripple Labs and the developers of the Ripple network expected many billions of dollars to be processed on the Ripple network on a regular basis. Has Corbett founder and CEO Tony Lee told Nathaniel Poppers of the New York Times. Once investors in the South Korean market are optimistic about a certain asset and its value continues to increase, every trader in the market moves towards that particular asset. The South Korean cryptocurrency exchange is very strongly affected by FOMO, or fear of missing out. Word just spreads really fast in Korea. Once people are invested, they want everyone else to join the party. There has been this huge, almost a community movement around this, said Leda. Last month, the South Korean market rallied behind Bitcoin Cash, pushing the price of BCH in the local market to $3,700. This month, Ripple has been the focal point of the portfolios of South Korean investors. Peter Brandt, an experienced and highly respected trader, stated that any investment or trade by FOMO is discouraged and it is an emotion which investors should not reflect on their trades. In my opinion, FOMO is one of the absolute worst emotions a trader can possess. I cannot count the number of traders I know who tapped out over FOMO. Learn to resist it, or it will bury you, said Brandt. It is my contention that many cryptomaniacs misunderstand FOMO. Markets thrust higher not because of buying from FOMO, have deep pools of liquidity available to terminate payments. Ripple's approach with XRP has been to get it listed on a bunch of exchanges and infer, but never explicitly say that banks are using it for settlement. Currently, more than 90 banks in Japan and South Korea alone have partnered with Ripple and its joint venture with leading Japanese bank SBI Holdings to integrate the blockchain technology of Ripple. But the banks are set to process real volumes of transactions in 2018. That is assuming that the pilot tests will be conducted seamlessly in the new few months. An important aspect of the Ripple blockchain network to consider is that it is not processing sufficient volumes of transactions to justify its market valuation. The current market cap of Ripple is based on its potential and total addressable market, TAM. But if the same measurement is used to place a valuation on Bitcoin, given that Bitcoin is targeting a $40 trillion market in offshore banking, $8 trillion market in gold, and $50 trillion in global reserve currencies, the market cap of Bitcoin could be in the trillions. Ripple's potential. Earlier this year, Ripple had processed $180 million in payments for Swedish bank SEB, which utilized the Ripple network to settle payments for its high-profile clients. In June, CCN reported that Ripple established a system with which banks can settle near-instantaneous payments between Japan and Thailand. In this case, Ripple was impressive in concept and turned out to be more so in practice. Furthermore, we can expect to have more favorable foreign exchange opportunities as Ripple's network expands, but market sense those with FOMO are missing out. When mass FOMO finally throws in the towel to buy, it's atop of some scale. Also, in a minor market, like South Korea, cryptocurrency investors often look for reaffirmations by prominent traders or institutions to justify their trades. For local traders, the wide adoption of Ripple by leading banks has been a go signal for investment. Is Ripple sustainable? Earlier this year, Ripple processed $180 million for Swedish bank SEB. If Ripple can process many billions of dollars on a daily basis on behalf of its partner banks, the high market cap of Ripple can be justified. However, the market cap and price of Ripple should not be justified by TAM, or total addressable market, but rather with actual transaction volumes and user activity. $1.52. Ripple price surges 15%, now worth more than Uber for the second time this week. The Ripple price has achieved a new all-time high at $1.52, surging by more than 15% overnight and obtaining a market cap of $59 billion. According to the Wall Street Journal, the $70 billion market valuation of Uber dropped by $20 billion over a period of 24 hours after SoftBank, Japan's largest technology investment firm, acquired a 20% stake in Uber, valuing the company at $50 billion. Having established a new all-time high, Ripple is now bigger than both Uber and Altucher, two of the largest technology startups in the global market, with a market cap of above $50 billion. Ofer Gottlieb, the CEO at Capital